evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Misfit Menagerie, or...
Cast.
Visual aid in case somebody doesn't understand why we do that. After 30 episodes.
There are 3 M's all in a row. And we got hats. We are going to be doing 2 hours of Rime of the Frostmaiden tonight, followed by a short break, and then 2 hours of Candlekeep Mysteries with our final new channel DM, Hank, DMing that one tonight. So we're all looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
I think you mean Sir Hanks a lot.
Yes.
Hank,
There we go. Henri the Great.
Please.
And
His full title, please.
And unintentionally, I also ended up DMing a Candlekeep episode because I did the night's entertainment in the Candlekeep universe.
There you go.
So you got an extra one.
It's not in the book. We gotta.
maybe we can have Mark and Coulter do one of them too. With
one shots.
Like our 9 characters Mark can do our 9 when we get to level 9 because that's what. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Got excited.
There's so many things. Well, with that amazing excitement that Helena has harvested from her soul, would you mind terribly giving us a recap of where we were last week?
I can. All right. So we were separated into the trials of Oriel. That did not last long, though. We all got little glimpses of our trial, and then we were all swooped away over into isolation where Hugo was already, of course. So there's this tribe, the Tiger Tribe, and they're getting ready. They're bustling around, and they're like, hey, you. Oh, yeah, you are emissaries of Oriel. We love Oriel. We suck all kinds of whatever. So they were very nice to us, and they were like, come with us. So we met the queen, and she was like, yeah, we're going to go get the elk tribe, even though they never are violent against us. We're going to go and fucking wipe them off the face of this tundra. So they were like, you guys stay here. We're going to go. So they leave, and we have the camp, and we're like, okay, this is not so bad. But then that first night, Mala goes missing. He just disappears. And so we're like, okay, I mean, that's probably the trial, right? This seemed to be going really well. So, of course, it's got to start going wrong. So he disappears. So we kind of go, okay, it's probably the trial. So the next day passes. Second night, Z, gone. Boom. So, okay, still trial. Then slowly over the next couple of nights, we all disappear. And Hugo is indeed left alone in the isolation. Days and days pass. He loses all track. He's making, snow conversation with nobody. And finally, the Tiger Tribe returns. And they're triumphant. And then snow whirls, and he gets transported back to the fortress. Boom, he did it. Okay. So then Malai, he's taken back to his cruelty trial. And they're like, oh, hello, emissary of Oriel, but they don't seem as happy to see him. This is going to be the bear tribe. And they're like, okay, here's, we didn't get enough for the sacrifice. So I guess you're going to kill these 4 people, aren't you? And Molly's like, fuck yeah, I am. He kills them. And then snow whirls, he gets transported back to the fortress. We're all hoping this is not real. Okay, boom. Then Altus and Tempest kind of pop right back into the preservation trial, even though they disappeared on different nights. But boom, they arrived there together. All the dead bodies, they're kind of walking through them like, what happened here? And then this boy comes out of a tent. He's not really wearing winter clothes. He just kind of looks fine in regular clothes, even though, of course, it's beyond cold. And he's like, hello? They killed my entire family. And it was like some rebels within the wolf tribe. They were like, we're going to do things differently. I think they wanted to follow Oriel more. So they were like, you better do it or we're going to kill you. And so then the rebels killed like the rest of the tribe that wouldn't, submit. So, but the boy was like, they forgot about me. But not for long, because then, oh, what's this? A bunch of vultures arrive, and this creepy guy that was the leader of the rebels comes back. And he's like, I'm going to get you, kid. I mean, why does he want to get him? It's rude. But so we kill him, of course. Tempest and Altus are like, no problem. Take out the vultures too, because why not? And then a wolf appears and is like, I'll take the boy. And we're like, that really helps. And then we get sent back to the fortress.
We were not prepared for parenthood right now.
Thank God we don't have to deal with that. Okay. And then we go to Z, and he is in the elk tribe, and they're all like, we're not going to do anything for a real, fuck her. And he's like, well, I'm just here to observe. I'll help. You guys need some help? And they're like, yeah, we'll take some help. And so then they got ready and they were going on a long journey. So a couple of weeks goes by for Z, where he's like traveling and just dealing with the elements, getting through. And then he is rewarded with a beautiful shot of some nice elk moving across the tundra. And then he comes back to the fortress as well. We all feel like we arrive about the same time, even though we were definitely in our trials for different periods. Recapitated.
Excellent. And that is where we find all of you gathered in the basement dungeon of the keep of the Frostmaiden herself, with an indeterminate amount of time passed, with all of you being underground, unsure whether you've been gone an hour or days. As you find out that Valin had also completed all 4 of the trials in the time that you were gone, returning very shortly before the rest of you, Professor Orb in hand. With the trials complete, what do you do now?
Well, I guess we should get what we came for, yes?
Absolutely. Let's do that now.
How long were we gone?
South.
Well, regardless of how long we were gone, we should keep moving forward.
You're right. No use in wasting more time.
How will we even know how long we were gone? Okay, so I'm heading south. That was, I think, where the...
This would be one of the times where that feat that allows you to know the cardinal directions and exactly what time it is at all times. All right. As you all move southwards towards where the walrus let you know the vault that Aurel keeps protected lays, this passageway leads to an anvil-shaped room with a door set into the wall. Flanking the door are bas-reliefs of 2 male frost giants that have been defaced, their features chipped away. Newer carvings above the door depict the glowering heads of an owl, a wolf, and a goat. As you all approach the door, a disembodied voice says, "This way is shut to all but those who pass the tests of cruelty, endurance, isolation, and preservation." And as it finishes, a cold wind begins to emanate from its frame as the last of you enters the room and the door swings forward. Valin follows behind, though she still seems quiet and shaken from your first meeting with her.
Same.
Malai will approach Valin and then quietly go, "I'm sure these were just simulacrums, something to test us. Try not to worry about it too much."
Well, whatever it was, it's over now, and that is all any of us can truly ask for. A great end.
He'll look knowingly at her. "I, too, had to pass the test of cruelty. I know what you're feeling."
Well, then, we best get what we came for and make sure that all of that was not in vain. And she follows you into the room. Arranged around this room are 3 tablets of ice. each 10 feet tall, 7 feet wide, and 1 foot thick. They sit upright in stands that are also carved from ice. Script has been chiseled into the surface of each tablet, and another door stands in the middle of the far wall. As you enter into the room, you see the runes carved on each of the tablets swirling in a vortex of ice trapped within the frame as they solidify from whatever language they started into common.
I would definitely like to study those. I'm not particularly interested in any kind of treasure, but this seems interesting.
All right. Is anybody else studying these as well? We're moving towards the door. Okay.
Tempest, if you wish to go forward and find the treasures, I think I'll stay here a moment.
I don't think we need to separate again.
It must have been quite shocking when I didn't show up the next morning.
We all were disappeared over those days.
I didn't.
Well, except for Hugo, because he had to pass the trial.
But you did pass, Hugo.
Yes, I did.
Anyway, the tablets?
The first tablet reads, "Compassion makes you vulnerable. Let cruelty be the knife that keeps your enemies at bay." The second reads, "Exist as long as you can by whatever means you can. Only by enduring can you outlast your enemies." The third reads, "In solitude, you can understand and harness your full potential. Depending on others makes you weak." And the last, "Every flake of snow is unique, and that which is unique must be preserved."
Our trials.
All right, forward.
I open the door.
Just so you know, companions, if there's some kind of horrid creature or beast on the other side of this door that tries to kill us, I don't think that's very fair.
Speaking to no one in particular.
Well, the frost bitch ain't fair.
Clearly.
This chamber has a domed ceiling engraved with a giant snowflake. 2 caryatids depicting a towering woman stand on either side of a door to the south wall. In the middle of the room is a 5-foot-tall, claw-shaped lectern with a white, fur-covered book resting upon it.
Detect magic. Immediately.
Okay. So the room lights up almost like seeing a camera flash that's blinding for a moment. And as you adjust to all of the different shades around you, the things that glow the brightest are the book and the door in the back of the room. The statues glow softly, the snowflake glows softly, and you have the feeling of being watched.
So definitely divination magic.
In this case, the statues and the door both feel much more like evocation. The book itself has several shades of magic. It reads like a rainbow to a detect magic spell.
Mm-hmm. Companions, we should proceed with caution. I'm sensing magical effects from the door, snowflake, and statues, as well as the book itself, but I kind of assumed the book would be magical. But evocation magic is always troublesome. So if you don't mind, I would like to take some time investigating the enchantments, see if I can't determine their function. If somebody else wants to look for physical maladies, that would also be helpful. Can I make an investigation and or arcana check to try and figure out if there's a trap to this?
Sure.
Does anyone have like a spell for finding traps?
I have find traps, yeah. I'm reading it right now to see if it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I don't have it prepared. So if you do, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Going into the fortress.
That is a dirty 20 for my investigation roll, and a 18 for my Arcana roll.
So, in this case, the evocation of the statue. Were you looking at that, or were you looking at the? Okay, the evocation of the statues is not a trap. It seems to be what keeps the form of them. They are locked in crystallized ice, and they are identical and massive. But it seems that the spell itself is something passive.
Okay, and then the door.
The door is throbbing with evocation magic. Though it seems that perhaps it's something beyond it, shining through it.
So it's not the door is like going to explode. It's like something is leaking through the door?
Yes.
All right, it seems relatively safe, but there's definitely something powerful on the other side of this door. Do we take what we came for, or do we keep going?
I don't know if this is the area that we push our luck in.
Lynn, what do you think?
I would like to leave as swiftly as possible, but I do plan on opening the door.
If I might suggest, I know I usually don't weigh in on these things, but if we've come
Talk
close
you though?
Apologies.
Continue.
I just feel Oriel's already tried to kill us on several occasions, and if she feels that there's something that should be locked away, and it's powerful as this energy reading that I'm getting, I have the feeling that it might be something powerful that she doesn't want others to have, except for those who follow her, hence the trials.
If it makes you more comfortable, you are more than welcome to wait on the other side of the door. You can even hold the book in case anything happens to me.
You're going after it? I thought you said you wished to leave.
Yes, I said I'm going to open the door first.
Yeah, I think it would be better if Tempest do it, as if anyone can survive Oriel's shenanigans, I believe Tempest would be the best suited. And no offense, Philin, but your contract was for the book. Anything behind this door would be for us.
If she wants to put her life at risk, that's fine. And she's more than welcome to claim whatever's in there. But I will be opening the door.
I open the door.
Okay. Beyond the door is a small room filled with mist. Chunks of broken ice cover the floor.
Be careful, Tempest.
When the door opens, can I cast Find Traps?
And I want to do Detect Dots.
Okay, go ahead and cast both of those.
All right.
And for the record, my Detect Magic would still be up.
So the room itself is a huge ball of evocation magic. Like, it is the room.
Sorry,
Cooper.
just listening to Cooper.
I know, I keep trying to mute my mic, but he kept going. For the listeners at home, my dog is howling at a siren in the next room, but he is very small, so the howl is very silly. He seems to have calmed now. So the room itself seems to be just like this big ball of evocation magic. It's swirling around the place in these mists. And for Detect Thoughts, there's nothing but you. For Detect Traps, it's blank.
Okay.
So the floor is solid and there are chunks on top of it. Or I can't see the floor really because of the mist.
So the mist is thin. but it is permeating and there are chunks of ice on them. Did you want to examine the ice, or did you want to, what's your thought
I'm
on
just
opening
not
the
sure.
door?
Yeah, like I open the door. Can I step in, or does it look like I would fall into water because of the chunks of ice?
The ground is solid. There are just
Okay.
chunks of ice on top of it.
Gotcha.
And before you step in, are you at full health, Tempest? After
Almost.
the wolf guy?
Pretty much.
How
Almost.
much are you down?
Didn't we say we got a full rest after the trials?
Mm-mm.
Yes, each of you had at least.
We did?
Yeah, each of you had at least one night of rest.
Yeah, but they fought
within
after
the
that
trials. So I'm down 16.
Okay, I'm going to cast at least one Cure Wounds on you then as you walk in, and then I'll walk in with you. That way, if something terrible happens, at least we're both in there.
I'm going to follow right behind.
I actually turn and stop you. My armor is protecting me from cold, and Tempest is naturally resistant. It would probably be best if the two of us proceed, as this seems to be cold in nature. It would be better for you, with your healing magics, to be prepared to save us if something terrible were to happen.
You're right, but I don't like sending you two in by yourselves.
Well, that's why we're going together.
Tempest?
You can come. I don't want to split up anymore. And I don't want to fight about this anymore. I step in.
I heal you for 11, by the way, as you
Thank
step in.
Valin follows into the room.
I give her a not so subtle sideways glance, but allow her to.
She kneels down and picks up one of the pieces of ice off the floor, standing and raising it. Above the mists and no longer shrouded, you can see that it's a forearm and a hand, crystallized of ice. And as she lifts it, both you and she here, will you court death to receive my blessing?
Depends on your blessing.
Is it only people in the room that can hear that?
It is only Tempest and Valin. Valin drops the hand and it shatters on the floor as she turns to the center of the room and says, "I will not," and strides back into the previous room.
Oh, we're not?
What are you talking about?
What are you not doing?
Courting death?
Oh, no, please.
Are you guys seeing a plaque I'm not seeing?
You guys didn't hear that voice?
A voice.
Oh,
What voice?
Somebody said we're courting death by coming in here because of a blessing.
I believe, if I'm not entirely mistaken, it was the voice of Ariel herself.
Oh,
She asked if we would court death in order to receive her blessing. And while I am excited to keep her book, I want nothing of that.
all right. I walk out.
Okay.
Would the blessing assist us in defeating Oriel?
Do you
why would
believe
she?
a goddess would give you something to defeat herself?
I believe that often people in power and people with great hubris make mistakes in empowering those who could harm them, yes? Often kings give power to dukes and lords, which then turns into those dukes and lords taking over the kingdom, yes?
Valin turns to Tempest. If you heard, as I heard, I know that you have no reason to trust me. I know that all of you have fought in my stead on multiple occasions. But I do believe that if anyone has a chance of stopping what is ahead, it is you. And I would recommend, earnestly, not to take this risk.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with her. I don't need that blessing.
I stepped into the room at this point.
Nothing.
I'll pick up one of the random rocks.
Sure.
Hello?
You picked up a calf with the foot and the knee broken off of it, but still delicately carved and clear and being anatomically correct. But there's no voice.
Perhaps. Can I look at the calf?
Sure.
Does it seem to be female?
No.
It is?
No.
It's definitely a male calf.
You can. So the hand that she picked up was female. The calf appears to be male.
Okay. I was wondering if perhaps that Velen and Tempest being the only females, that's the reason Aurel's talking to them and not to either of us. Z?
Yeah.
Do you think you could become female and enter this room to test a hypothesis?
Velen rolls her eyes and picks up the codicil and walks back into the other room to wait for all of you.
I mean, I can't be actually female. I can look like one.
I mean, it might be close enough for the enchantment. No harm, no foul.
All right.
And also,
make
as a
myself-
genderless species, it might still qualify.
I'll also step towards the middle of the room while he's doing that.
The room itself feels cold and eerily still, as if the motion of the mists is propelled by something unnatural outside of wind or frost itself.
As I see Hugo moving further in, I move back into the room to be keeping an eyeball on him. Are you looking for something? Do you want her blessing?
Well, I mean, couldn't help. Couldn't hurt.
Well, I mean, tell that to these frozen limbs.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to die in the next, well, who knows how long. Now, who knows how long I was in that trial. Could be tonight.
Well, I'll stick with you if you want to try.
It doesn't seem like she's talking to me, so maybe not.
Has he entered the room yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Z, you feel the same thing. The temperature between the previous room and the current one is a dramatic drop, but nothing more.
Shall
Yeah.
Maybe there's demonic blood in Valin's bloodline. Maybe that's the key
Molly.
element.
I think we're done.
We're good. We're okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just fascinated by mysteries. I apologize. I didn't mean to be offensive. Was I being offensive again?
Not offensive. No, you're okay.
It's just not important right
Right.
now. Try to herd you. Let's go.
Come on, kids. Come on, kids. Out of the creepy dungeon. Out of the creepy temple.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
As you all exit from that room, back through the room of the codicil, the claw itself closes up. And as the last out of the door, Tempest, you hear, "Goodbye, my child." And the door swings shut behind you.
I'm just saying, understanding why I talked to Valin and Tempest specifically might give us more insight as to Oriel's overall plan.
Oriel doesn't like us.
I mean,
That's her plan.
either way, we're going to kill her, so...
Upon hearing Z say that, I'll just immediately starts looking around for something to start shifting again.
I'm just saying, but why would she offer Tempest a blessing if she hates us and wants to kill us? And Valin, for that matter.
I actually kind of think it's because she does like me. I don't know about you guys, but
I think she's chaotic and wants to screw with us.
I learned not to cast daylight. Don't worry.
Thank the lords.
Well, to be fair, we shouldn't cast anything that interrupts the winter or darkness that she is put upon, because when we use the summer orb, or the summer star, she was also very upset.
We know. It was just kind of a figure of speech.
Taught us that it was also the darkness that is... Oh.
We got it.
All right. Moving back into this room.
The dungeon itself is still entirely empty. Each of the doors to the trial that you all came out of closed again. Where are you all going?
Well, Valin, where do we need to go next, now that we have the Codicil?
With the Codicil, we should be able to, I believe, unlock the glacier. We can finally get to Etherin and make all of this worthwhile.
Hopefully our ride is still around.
Does that mean we're returning to Omnijuk, or do we do that from here? I don't know where the glacier is. Apologies.
The glacier is far to the east of 10 towns, so we would need to return to our whale friend in order to...
Yeah, we got to check on the dogs, Molly. Come on.
Yes.
Well, it would make more sense to go straight to the glacier than to return back to Brinchander.
The glacier is not directly on the water, so the dogs might be your fastest way of arriving.
Oh, well, in that case, we should return to Brinchander.
Well, we need to return to the dogs. Go to the stairs.
Okay, Valin.
Yes.
You originally had asked us to retrieve the Codicil. Are you also wanting us to... do we split ways here, or...?
Well, I believe we had a brief discussion on this. The point of finding the Codicil was to open the path where I can find magical secrets beyond anybody's imaginings before the rest of the Arcane Brotherhood, and you all can find a way to end the winter. If we're looking at something that's beyond 9th level spell capabilities, there must be something there to end Auriel's reign.
9th level and 10th level spells are a myth. Everyone knows this.
I assure you.
And when we're out of Auriel's fortress.
Oh, I assumed we were having this conversation while we were moving.
Walking.
I apologize if that wasn't clear.
Walk and talk.
Moving up the stairs, back onto the main level of the fortress, you find it as empty as you arrived. The ice mephits that covered the entryway to the staircase itself no longer atop their perches, and an eerie silence setting over the place. Each of the doors closed as you pass the hallways built for giants, the collapsed table of the dining room visible in this entryway, the closed doors on either side, all surfaces made of ice, and that light mist covering the floor. Are you making it straight to the exit? The doors are closed once again, but they open readily. They are not locked, and nothing is blocking them. And as you return back into the darkness of the outside of the Isle of Solstice, above you in the sky is the aurora, blazing strongly.
Look it off.
I'm on the lookout for Auriel's in beast form flying around.
Okay. Are you all heading straight for the docks?
Yeah.
Well, thanks to our Misfit friend, we know that the path takes us.
Sorry, you cut out for a second there. But
I was saying, thanks to our Misfit friend, we know the path takes us straight there, so it makes sense.
All right. So it takes you hours, again, as it took you roughly 3 hours to get from the docks to this place of the island, the path itself easing your travel. You don't see any living creatures, though you pass through more of the sculpture gardens as you did on your way here.
Malai, do you chart the stars ever? Can you determine how much time may have passed?
I can attempt to, yes. Is it possible to see how far the constellations have shifted?
Make a roll with cartographer's tools.
Okay. That is 15.
Okay, so you can't tell more than the time.
Hang on. I get advantage, so let me try again because that was a low roll. So that's 18.
Okay. So with the way that the stars are and with the position of the aurora and its breadth across the sky, you can tell that it has been about 3 to 4 hours since you entered Grimskalle, though whether that's 3 to 4 hours on the same day or a different day is not possible to tell.
Damn. I hope the dogs are okay.
But I mean, it hasn't been that much time, at least, that they haven't shifted, right?
No, I mean, because the discernible shift in the stars, especially this far up north, it would take weeks to give you a real strong change that you could guess a season by or something.
But we know it hasn't been at least 2 weeks, because that would be a significant change, is what I'm saying. So I can turn to our friend and say, like, it's been at least less than a week.
Less than 2 weeks.
I was trying to be optimistic.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm like, star, pretty. Okay. Well, let's hope.
Hugo, you do know that this walking has started to labor your breathing more than you would normally feel, as if there is something taking up more space in your chest, keeping your lungs from fully inflating. Just this light, constant pressure. Within that 3 or so hours, as you're nearing the dock itself, the aurora begins to recede across the sky, slowly returning from its source at the crown of Grimskalle. It does not deplete entirely until you reach the docks themselves, where a whale waits at the surface of the water.
When I see him, I start running.
I also get excited and run after Tempest.
As each of you board Angajuk one by one, the last of you causing the dome to form again as he begins to recede into the water, you hear a shriek that pierces the island, causes the waves to shake, a mountain of the glacier collapsing into the water as you recede. But Angajuk, go ahead.
Well, I'm glad that we did it while she was gone.
Oh, yeah.
Angajuk dips beneath the waves themselves until all you see is the darkness of the water. And unlike the first time where he dallied to show you different sights and caves that he enjoyed, with that shriek, he's beelining it for the shore.
I ask him if he knows how many days may have passed
Oh.
since he dropped us
As
off.
far as I know, you've only been gone for several hours. I left
Oh.
you here this morning. I appreciate you not making me wait. The rock would have been very uncomfortable to deal with.
Yeah. Thank you for being there. You got a great sense of timing.
Hey, Hugo, it's been less than a day.
Oof, well, that's some good news, I guess.
Well, I was in that trial for definitely more than a day, and it feels as though, and I'll just kind of hold my chest, that those days counted.
It does, you say.
It might be time to readdress the emergency plans that we had, as far as you're concerned.
Hugo, if you feel like you're in more danger now than when we got here, then a change in plans pretty soon might be inevitable.
Well, we have a few days on the back of our friend here, so I suppose we can discuss.
Altus,
Yes?
you are a cleric, to divine caster, correct?
In my spare time?
Do you have the ability to reach across the veil?
I've never tried. What are you thinking?
Well, I know that you've been dabbling in necromancy, and bringing things back from the dead is a lesser extension of that. Do you think if we were to assist Hugo in no longer being hospitable for the creature, could we bring him back immediately after?
We could. That was one of the ideas.
One that I do not approve of.
Yeah. We had that one. We had the idea that we let it happen and then I'll keep him from dying, and everybody else heals him as much as we can. But that also rather sounds unpleasant for Hugo and all of us to watch.
Hugo, I understand your feelings on being brought back from the dead, but are you familiar with fever and its purpose within the body?
Go on.
Well, at this point, we need to discuss the fact that whatever is growing inside of you, if we do nothing, becomes a greater threat to the world around it. Whatever did this to you, letting it give birth just because of your belief systems would cause more harm to the balance of nature than a slight misstep purposely taken in order to right the wrongs and further your own life. While I can understand your compunction with being brought back would be a problem, like a fever, we need to make your body as uninhabitable as possible so that we can kill the virus instead of having it spread to others. For if we do nothing, there's a very real chance whatever that thing is will cause another family to suffer as you have.
You use a lot of words, Malai, and I can see that you have very little in the way of principle. But that's one line I will not cross. And if it does come out, then my dear Tempest will take care of it. We already have a compact. I'll do like a sly little smirk towards Tempest.
My concern is that what if Tempest fails?
Wow. I walk away.
Seeing as I killed the one that came out of
boat.
Seeing as I killed the one that came out of my sister, and she is, from what I've seen, much more powerful than I don't think that's a possibility.
Was your sister also a spellcaster?
Yes.
Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong way. Z, do you know of anything to get rid of this? To banish it, I'd have to lay eyes upon it, which again still sounds not very nice for Hugo.
I have absolutely no knowledge of medicine whatsoever, other than big wound usually means die soon. Like, no.
Maybe we don't think medicine.
Maybe we find another spellcaster, one who's got more experience.
Lynn,
Yes.
do you have any divination magic of any kind?
She had her nose buried entirely in the Codicil of White, and it was clear that what she was busy doing was copying the spells from within it to her own book. And
Oh boy.
just a moment. She flips through the pages. I am ill-equipped for divination. I've always taken a liking to necromancy as it was something that suited me, but in the way of divination, I have detect magic, and that's about it. Arcane Eye?
Arcane Eye, you say?
Yes.
How long will we be on the water?
The whale responds, I'm doing my best to get you back as quickly as possible. I think I can have you there day and a half.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
I may have a
try.
plan. But it requires a little finesse. Valin, do you think you could make a copy or a spell scroll? I have the equipment for it. A spell scroll of Arcane Eye.
Wait, you have the equipment to make a spell scroll?
I mean, I have gold and I have all kinds of paper and ink and whatnot.
Let's see here. All right, so unless somebody has better information, what I am seeing for creating a 4th level scroll is that it takes 2 weeks.
Wow.
F. Well, I can do it in a week because of being an artificer, but I would have to have access to the spell.
It's still a week, not day and a half, 2 days.
Just write extra fast. It's okay.
I don't
I
think
have no problem letting you copy from my book. I mean, I assume we're going to be together for at least that amount of time, given the distance.
I don't think metagame, I don't think Jake would be able to read the scroll either, right?
I don't think
This is
so.
not.
No. But Malai could.
Artificers can cast wizard spells, or can cast spells from scrolls.
Can cast Arcane Eye specifically, yeah.
Okay.
It's on my spell list, is what I'm saying.
Oh, God.
So if I have a scroll of it, I could cast it because it's on my spell list. But actually,
Can Valin just cast it?
she could, but my plan involves it has to be the same person casting it, is the problem. Okay. Is there any way Jake could teach Valin banishment? Or I could instruct Jake in making a spell scroll of banishment?
What level is banishment?
Banishment's also 4th.
Also
yeah.
4th level.
So it's still going to be a matter of that it takes that amount of time to get it copied into her book.
All right, then my last Hail Mary plan. Is it possible for us to somehow connect you and Valin's minds? Do we have a way of doing that?
Hugo's
Sending?
and balloons? Oh.
No, I mean like if we look at our possible spells and whatnot, is there some way we can connect you and Valin mentally to where you see what she sees? I know there's spells that do it, but I just don't know if we have access to them.
I don't even know what spell does that.
I am happy to lay my book bare if it keeps you all safe, happy, and towards our goals. And I'm happy to do whatever I can, but I don't believe I have anything that does that. She has, and I can give you guys all a screenshot of this, Chill Touch, Light, Mage Hand, Message, Prestidigitation, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Ray of Sickness, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Dark Vision, Hold a Person, Ray of Enfeeblement, Animate Dead, Liamon's Tiny Hut, Vampiric Touch, Arcane Eye, and Blight.
If there's anything in there.
I'm going to ask a dumb question just to double check all of our bases. Have we tried Dispel Magic at a higher level?
I
It's not a
believe.
magical effect, though.
I believe is that what you tried the first time I told you about it?
I think I tried to remove Curse.
What spells do you have, Jake? Yes, I can
Ones that are relevant, I have
This is why.
Dispel Magic. I have Remove Curse, Revivify, Speak with Dead, Locate Creature. That it's in Hugo.
Now we know for sure.
It's moved to his spleen.
Yeah, I mean,
I have as Jake, I have no better plan than bringing Hugo back from the dead or
Right.
keeping him at 1 HP as something crawls out of his chest.
right.
Well, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Friend, I don't want you to go through that.
I've been through worse. I haven't been through worse. That sounds terrible.
After that, you'd be able to say that jokingly, but I don't want you to get there.
Valin, in several of the combats, I saw you cast a spell that severely dehydrated a target. That might be, because moisture is incredibly important to a parasite.
Are you referring to Vampiric Touch?
I was actually referring to Blight. I've seen her cast Blight.
Oh,
Doesn't
Blight.
she have that?
Excellent. Yes.
Wouldn't she have to be able to see it, though?
Well, not if we
Want me to
Make
blight
the-
your friend?
if we make the body as uninhabitable as possible. Maybe it would flee, seeking a new host, and then we could kill it.
Valin turns to Hugo and goes, so you're very much against me bringing you back as a zombie. That's correct?
Yes.
Are you joking?
Yes. Yes, entirely joking.
Yes.
And she goes back to her book and begins to
That's a good
copy
one.
spells over. All right. Anything else?
So maybe we should go south when we get back. We can find another caster in a bigger town.
I think that. Oh, I guess I don't know this because I didn't fight the dragon.
Oh, I don't know how long it'll take to get south.
I was going to say, I think that we might be the higher echelon of anything that might be in the 10 towns, especially now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to like
That's what I mean.
Neverwinter or Sword Coast, somewhere on the Sword Coast.
But that'll take weeks probably. to go that far south.
Rio looks so excited.
I just have a plan, but it's a spell that Altus has never cast, but he can cast, so I don't know how to do it without metaing, but I have a plan.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do. So
Well,
there's
I
a
don't
third
know that
level
we can
spell.
do it. Since... Okay, go ahead.
There's a third level spell that is on your spell list, Jake, called Feign Death.
Yeah.
Well, it makes the target indistinguishable from dead.
but I feel like this thing isn't waiting for
This
him
thing's-
to die.
Inside of him.
This thing is going to kill him as it comes out. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna like gestate, and then when it's ready, it's gonna burst. Like it's not just like, all right, is he dead today? I guess yeah. Okay, today's the day.
Well,
Oh no, there's a key sentence in there that I didn't read before. The target has resistance to, I'm not going to say it in front of Coulter.
but if we sleep the next morning, you can prepare that spell and we could give it a shot.
We lost track of the countdown.
That's what I'm saying. You have to wait till tomorrow before you can prepare spells regardless. So
Right. But I just
Aside
always
from-
have it prepared, and as soon as I hear Hugo gasp, I just cast it on him.
No, I'm saying we try it tomorrow. We just try to see if that will get it to leave the body.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Well, Hugo, we have a
Okay.
plan.
All right.
Okay. Well,
So tomorrow it bursts out of my chest.
Maybe. But we have a plan. Tempest, we have a plan. Ah, that feels good.
Yeah, it's almost like it came out of nowhere.
the rest of this journey is fast. The whale never stops pushing forward, never rests, as all of you are able to get a safe night's sleep on its back. And halfway through the next morning, as it weaves in and out of ice blocks, as the sea of moving ice becomes denser the closer you get to shore, you all awaken by the shoving back and forth as it does this, rolling over and falling onto your bags, items falling out onto the deck of the ship it passes back. Just at the start of twilight on that following day, you are able to make it back to the shore as he raises out of the water next to the bell. And on the ice is a walrus laying on its back, spread out.
Hey,
Several
friend.
fish skeletons spread across the ice around it as it uses two of its flippers to peel off another one and drop it to the side.
Is it Akuma?
Oh, hey, you guys are back. Yeah,
Hey,
no,
yeah.
you were right. It's much better out here.
Oh, glad to see you, friend.
Can I tell you, it is way easier to catch fish when you're like, and he puts a flipper up to his head. Smart. Way easier. They're real dumb. I didn't know how dumb they were, but they're real dumb.
Good for you.
Yeah, Angojuka sent me back to check on your fur things. They're looking good. Yeah.
Oh, our dogs.
A couple of the scaly ones are kind of dead, but the other ones seem good.
Oh,
Scaly ones, those they're Blins. Okay.
I give him a kiss and then I run to the dogs.
Okay, well, I'm out of fish, so yeah, this is cool. Thanks again. And it just flops its belly over into the hole next to Angajuk and drops down and comes up to the side next to him. So, like,
Oh,
are you almost done?
As friends.
And it's clear as you all come onto the shore that the scaly things that it referred to as dead were Valin's zombie kobolds collapsed onto the ice in a heap. But the dogs and the axe beaks are all well cared for as they come rushing out of the hut, followed by the kobolds that rush towards Helene to make sure she's okay.
Thank you, TM. I rub on them and get them, make sure they're fed and stuff. And then I also want to run and jump into the water and get an octopus for Angajuk before he leaves.
Okay.
I'm going to keep hugging and petting the dogs.
It's so as those of you that are like checking on the dogs and everything, they are definitely well cared for. The kobolds follow exactly what Valin said to do and feeding them and everything. You do notice that while you all had a massive store of rations, a good chunk of it is gone. And one of the kobolds says to Altus, the walrus said to feed him, that we had to feed him, that you all said to feed him. He said, the tall, angry lady said, make sure he's fed. So we gave him food. Yes, that's what you said. That's what we did.
Can somebody insight that? Because I feel like they ate the food. They're blaming Akuma.
I don't really give a crap.
I don't care enough either.
Altus isn't going to question it because the dogs are safe.
Yeah, like the dogs are safe. Everything is good. If they were hungry, who gives a shit?
While Altus has a depressed look on his face for a second, he quickly wipes it away to just be happy that the dogs are back or safe.
Yes, good. And they go back and start to prep Valin's bags that she'd left behind, as now the dogs are no longer their responsibility, and they seem to be very pleased with that. Go ahead and give me a survival roll, Tempest.
9.
It's as you go through the water, the walrus cleared out the area. Like there's not much left here. Sentience has done him well, and he has eaten for it.
Okay. I get out there, I guess. I thank him. Thank you so much for everything.
It was my pleasure. This breaks up my days much more than regular. If you all have any other journeys you would like to attend on, it was very nice having someone to talk to.
Maybe we can come visit sometime.
Yeah, I might move here to this cabin.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
I would like that. It should not be empty. Enga would have wanted it to be enjoyed. Farewell, friends. And he goes below the water very carefully so as not to splash any of you with the waves as all of it falls in around him. As the walrus then does a flip, smacks its tail on top of the water, spraying it across, and follows him downwards. Sentient animals got to stick together, you know?
I like it.
All right. Rejoining your companions, your dogs, your axe beaks, named for food, and Valin's kobolds. I would recommend that if anything, we start out for the glacier at once. I understand that you all have a plan, and I am willing to take breaks to ensure that you can complete whatever you need to, but I think that the sooner we do this, the better, before this is taken by rivals.
Well, can we have at least an hour of a time to try the plan we discussed on Angajuk?
Yes, of course. I assumed that you needed a day or so, but if you only need an hour, all the better.
How long did it take Angajuk to get back?
So a day and a half. Okay. This is twilight of, you were underwater for a full day, and then this is twilight of the next day. Which means roughly 10 a.m.
All right, how should we...
Well, who's going to kill me?
Can you not phrase it like that, Hugo?
Well, I mean, we're looking at either a Hail Mary try to destroy the Queen of Winter before he dies, killing him early to make sure that the thing inside of him doesn't escape, or attempting the plan of forcing his body to think it's dead and then seeing if that works. It's better to be honest about these things. Hugo would appreciate it, I'm sure.
All right, well, Hugo, you're going to take a nap, buddy. And I go to put a hand on his shoulder, and as I do, I cast Feign Death.
I catch him if he all of a sudden collapses. I lay him down.
All right. Now that Hugo is under, do we kill him and just bring him back and tell him that we brought him back from the Feign Death spell?
No.
I mean, we wait and
Sorry,
see.
what?
We wait and see if Feign Death works first.
I'm just saying.
I put my ear to his chest.
According to the spell,
Can I
he
hear
should be
anything?
completely indistinguishable from a corpse. Like, even medicine checks don't work. The only way to tell that it's a spell effect is to cast Detect Magic. So, he shouldn't have a heartbeat or anything.
How long does this spell last?
An hour.
1 hour.
Okay.
I sit down, cross-legged next to his torso, and I just start to wait and think. Is anything happening to him, DM?
He
Yeah, do I hear
appears
anything in
to
his
be
body?
dead.
Okay.
There's no breathing, no pulse. His skin has gone from its vibrant fire genasi colors to a pallid, muted tone.
So, what's the next plan if this doesn't work?
Well, I fear it's not working. The idea was, like the fever, that this makes his body unlivable.
But it's also
unless-
only been a few minutes.
Well, that's why I'm saying, so we'll give it some time. I'm just curious, do we have a thought on what the next plan might be if this doesn't work?
Not
Well, we
sure.
can't travel far enough south to find casters there. We could try Bryn Shannon. We could see if anybody's there that could help. We have a plan for if it does take him.
What's
There's the guy that has the scrolls and potions. Maybe
Yeah.
he has something super high level that we didn't see before, or
maybe he
So we
keeps
just-
it in the back and we'd have to
Yeah.
ask all hush hush. Ooh, I
yeah.
haven't had to do that since. I don't know.
Valin, you don't know anybody that could help, do you?
Can your Professor Scant do anything to assist us?
Well, we
There-
asked him.
There are higher level casters around. They're after the same goal that I am. If we were to come across one of them, I mean, it's possible you'd have to convince them to help you after you've already taken a side.
I have gold.
They're not
We have-
interested in gold.
We have lots of stuff that we need to turn in for gold too.
They're interested in Yethrin.
Well, we'll help everybody with that if, I don't know. I guess then that makes sense for us to continue moving towards that because we might come into contact with some of your friends. But
We
I hate this.
are not friends, to be
Oh.
clear.
Okay. Well, the people that are after the same goals you are. Does Bryn Shannon have a library?
You know, East Haven had a library before the destruction. I don't think you guys have been backed since then.
Well, man, what if we could contact a caster in another town, like through with magic, and then they could talk us through it or something?
What
If they
about
could-
the Morning Lord?
I don't
Are you
know
all
that
servants
guy.
of the
willing-
Morning Lord?
Well, I mean, Altus we recently did him a service. Perhaps we could pray and trade in our blessings to save Hugo? To give Altus the divine inspiration he needs to solve this malady?
He's presented
I don't
himself
want to be
once.
ungrateful. While we wait, there's nothing better to do.
Isn't he already casting this spell then?
Well, I mean, we're sitting around watching Hugo be dead, hoping that something happens.
Yeah.
I just mean, can Jake cast another spell while he's casting Feign Death, or is it just wears
It's not
off?
concentration, no.
Okay.
Yeah, Feign Death is like touch and that happens.
Cool. Yeah, pray
I
away.
I actually
Talk to
don't
your
think we
boy.
can. It's not a concentration spell, so I don't even know if we can bring him back until the hour is up. But
I mean, that makes sense.
All right. I sit back and start trying to talk to a god that made himself visible once and saved all of us and myself.
Has Z mentioned his connection to his new lady god?
Yeah, I've told you guys about it.
What about your god, Z? She cares about family.
I don't think I've walked her path long enough for her to help with this.
it doesn't hurt to ask.
True. What time is it?
By now, we're approaching that 45 minutes into the Feign Death. We're reaching towards about 11:45.
At night or noon?
Towards noon.
Okay. I can try, but I feel like it might be easier for me to talk to her when it's closer to her time, like nighttime.
Okay.
I can try.
While he's in this state, I could attempt to surgically remove it.
Oh, Jesus. I
Do you
mean,
think you can do that?
It's not outside of the realm of possibility if we knew exactly where the creature was within the body.
we would need to get his consent,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Because Altus can always
Opening
cast
him up.
this again.
I agree.
Okay. All right. As the time ticks on, the twilight growing more and more full, as you've now sat on the shore of the Sea of Moving Ice for over an hour, the color resumes in Hugo's face, and he draws a breath. The sharp pain of the ice hitting your lungs.
That was peaceful. Obviously didn't work, I suppose.
Well, nothing happened that we saw.
Well, should we continue with our journey then?
If you want to.
I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later, so might as well try to do some good.
Okay.
All right.
Although
Okay.
Molly did mention he might be able to cut you open and take it out. You interested in that?
while you were in your previous state is the stipulation to that.
I mean, have you cut many people open before?
I've read several books on the topic.
Shall we move on? Continue.
I mean, worst case scenario,
Yes,
you
we
die.
Yes, but not naturally by your hand. No, it doesn't seem right.
I mean, it would be the same as being stabbed by a sword, essentially.
So we're moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So taking inventory of our rations, how much left do we have?
You all were incredibly overprepared. I believe when you left, you had like 2 to 3 months of rations for the entire
Only 1 month. But
1 month. Okay. So at this point, you do have at least 2 10 days rations left.
Okay. And how long will it take to get to the glacier?
Let's see. From where you are.
I say we need to stop back in Brinchander regardless.
Yeah, we can ask that wizard
Right.
or the scroll seller.
It is about 60 miles from where you are presently.
And how many miles can we travel in a day?
Well, each mile takes you an hour by dog sled.
So 8 miles a day ish. If we stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at potentially a week of travel.
And then a week back.
Yeah, and that doesn't account for how long we stay there. So I think we need to stop in Brinchander regardless and get food. And also visit this wizard
Yeah.
or shop proprietor and see if he has anything hidden away.
Agreed.
All right, if you all feel that we need to restock for us to make it there successfully, that is something I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
In theory, it should only add a day, maybe 2, to the journey overall.
And at this point, we have the only way that I know of to get through the glacier.
We have loads of time then.
Onwards. And she snaps again, and the kobolds start loading her bags onto her own dog sled as you all prepare. Excellent. The journey from here back to Brinchander, especially starting just in the middle of the twilight, is a clear one. You can see the weather holding steady. Light tracks from your journey here marking the way back from whence you came. And though it takes all of that day and deep into the night, you are able to make it back to the dim lights of Bremen by midnight. Only a short drive further, now with roads to speed your way, as when you left, no one was staying in the towns overnight, and as you return, you see several lanterns lit in Targos in the few buildings that remain, and guards on night watch at the gates of Brinchander as you arrive near 2 in the morning.
So that took just the rest of our second day to get there. That wasn't an additional day?
That was 14 hours of travel total.
Okay.
12 hours of, 14 hours of travel. Yeah, I know math. It's fine.
So I get the dogs situated, get us into the teat. I guess we just sleep on the floor. We didn't arrange. I don't think we have our rooms necessarily, so.
Are the market stalls open, Coulter?
It's 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's 2 in the morning.
Oh, no.
No, the city itself is dark. The only lanterns that are lit are the few outside of buildings in defiance of Auril.
Well, I set up to go to bed in the teat.
Okay.
I'm going to set up in a place away from everyone because I am going to read Aldous' note. Finally.
Oh,
Nice.
All right. Tormund is not in the building as it is dark, but luckily Tempest from her former employment was able to let all of you into the building. There is still smoldering coals in the hearth, keeping it warm enough to stand, with more wood to the sides that you are more than welcome to rebuild the fire from. What are the rest of you doing as Tempest sits down to read?
I'm pooped, so I'm going just outside the witch's teat and cast Meld into Stone and sleep for 8 hours.
Hugo lets himself outside, leaning against the side of the building as a Hugo-shaped carving forms itself in the wall of the witch's teat.
Well, that's new.
Chest first.
Just that ample
Just that behind
fire genasi butt sticking out of the wall of the witch's teat.
dump truck.
Altus, Z, and Malai.
Going to sleep.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any food left over, and if there is, I'll just take that to wherever I'm sleeping for the night. Or take a bowl or something. Yes?
It's possible to have a conversation.
Of course, Malai. What can I do for you?
In private.
Yeah, it's possible. I say defeatedly. And then I wait for Malai to take me wherever he deems private enough.
And Malay watches you as he has no place to stay. He sleeps in the storage room.
That would be private.
So we should go to mine? My cave is behind the bar down the stairs.
My cave.
We'll just go behind the bar.
All right.
Altus, if we can't find a solution for Hugo's malady before leaving Brinchander, I believe it might be in his best interest to remain here. The others are emotional and would fight me on this, but it's the most practical and logical solution. You can clearly see that.
For Hugo to stay here when no one else knows what's going to happen to him?
I mean, for 7 days, at any time during that journey, while we're sleeping in the middle of combat, he could expire. If you are spending all of your mental energy trying to protect him from that fate, if there's nothing we can do, then there's nothing we can do. I know it seems monstrous, but this is the practical solution.
I don't fully see how leaving a friend to die is the practical solution. We have the means to help him, whether or not he fully agrees with it. We can help him. I at this point, I'm debating whether or not whether or not I care how we save him as long as we save him. I asked him questions to make him comfortable and to find the most peaceful solution, but
Then if your solution is to bring him back from the dead regardless of his wishes, why do we not just do that and save ourselves the worry for the next 14 days?
Because then I don't have to face him and tell him that I'm lying to his face.
Very well.
I understand your concern and that you think it is the right solution. We've lost too many at this point to lose another one that I've called a friend.
Yes, but the course of action the rest of you are deciding to embark upon leads to a much higher percentage of him perishing. If you are already willing to betray his trust by bringing him back against his will, then there's no reason why we should wait to enact that plan. He would be just as angry now as he would be then.
Well, sounds like we have an uncomfortable conversation to have tomorrow together, don't we?
Well, I definitely feel we should visit the market stalls, see if there isn't a solution that can be gained before taking that course of action. But I'm saying an axe to the neck in the middle of his sleep and then brought back from the dead would be far less traumatic than anything else. I am aware that my upbringing is different from yours, but the good of the tribe is always more important than the good of the individual.
The best choice isn't always the easiest and I don't know. We'll all talk tomorrow, but everyone deserves to be involved.
I just hope you do not grow to regret this, Altus.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say, and I agree with you on that. I don't want to regret this either.
You are welcome to stay in my cave as long as you wish, but I am going to sleep now. And Malai curls up in the ground and immediately starts sleeping.
I debate if I should give him a pat or and then I stave off to my room. I'm assuming we have rooms at the Witch's Teat at this point.
Yes, though most of your compatriots had chosen to sleep in the living room, there were still the rooms available that you all had taken previously. And as you returned to yours, one of you melded in stone and the other passed out on the floor. We find Tempest alone by the hearth in the dim light that is all that is left of the fire. Would you like to read your letter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess this is me now, isn't it? Tempest, as you go to open it, it is a full piece of paper, but just across the center, it says, "Like a holy ghost, you show your face, and I seem to have found a place. I call you church, because when you're near, all my demons flee. There are no devils here."
Oh. I read that several times. And then I go up to his room.
Ew.
Ooh. Ooh.
What the hell is this? You think I can understand what this means?
Sorry, my eyes are adjusting. Oh. Are you just now asking?
Yes.
Have you been wondering for so long?
I just read it. I thought you were...
Oh, no. thank you for being the only peace I can seem to find anymore.
I got that, I guess. Look, I care about you.
That means I care about you too. That's what that says.
Good.
Any warm blood in Altus's body is in his cheeks right now.
Is it though?
Yeah.
I care about you. But I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I don't either, as you can tell. I wish I did know. That would make this a lot easier.
All right, well, we've got a lot of stuff going on, so I guess we don't have to have it figured out. I'm sorry I've been weird.
It's okay. We're all a little weird, and this time is a little weird too. Infinite Winters. Just, I care about you, Tempest, and I never want you to doubt that.
I get that, definitely.
And then I just stand up and walk over and give her a big hug. And it's kind of awkward, but it's sweet. Please don't make me roll for that. We all know I'm awful at these rolls.
No.
Not one. She kicks you in the nuts. Okay. I hug you back. Fade to black. Tasteful fade to black.
All right. As they embrace in the doorway, that is the end of our evening. All of you are able to get a full night's rest and wake up the next day in various states of comfort, with Hugo falling backwards off of the wall of the Witch's Teat into the snow in the darkness of a 10 towns morning. Tempest and Altus warm in the knowledge that they've finally had a discussion long coming. Malai in his cave, comfortable in a familiar darkness of his surroundings, and Z with such a crick in the neck. And that's where we're going to end tonight. I know it's a little bit of a short one, but moving forward from here is going to start an entirely different story arc if we continue. And I very much like the button of Tempest and Altus finally having their conversation. So thank you all for your patience. Again, apologies, it's a little bit of a shorter episode tonight. We will definitely work to make it up to you next week, as we will push for a longer episode at that point, or something along those lines. And with that, thank you so much to our patrons, Sparky, David, Daniel, Scott, Rio's mom, Alistair, Sean, and Johnny Mac. And we wish you friends, fun, and natural 20s. Good night, everybody.
Cast.